Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fishing the Mid-South, and we're going to go over the knotless knot or the no-knot snell and why it is so good. So what I've done, I've got some green solar or solar collector line from Trilane Big Game. So you can see I've got some black Sharpie on part of the line. And so our standing end is going to be the long end and the tag end will be the shorter end. So what I want to show you, so we go through with the tag end into the back of the hook, right? So we're still on the tag end as we start our wrap, okay? And then I'm going to do extra wraps. Okay, so you can see. Then we get into the line that I've colored with the Sharpie. And then we take the standing end and we go back through the top. So what we're seeing here, so we've got, this is the black end, or the colored, where I've colored in, starts here. So our standing end goes down, around, so the bottom two wraps are again part of this solid piece of the standing end. And then we switch over to where I hadn't colored it in on the tag end. And why that's important is how the knot pulls. There's two aspects to this. And I'll try to get this as close to the camera as possible. So the first one is when we start tightening the knot as it pulls, it's pulling on the bottom of the, down here at the bottom of the knot and tightening up as it goes further up, right? You also have this piece of line that is working as a buffer, the tag end, all the way through here, so it also gives some cushion to this knot. So that's part of it. The other part of it's going to be when the tag end goes through originally, it sits at the bottom of the knot. And it sits closest to that gap where the wire of the hook comes around and meets itself. So you've got the cushion there, so you don't have to worry about the standing end getting abraded by that because it doesn't actually come through that area at all. Okay, so this is me pulling on it tight. You can see that the standing end, the black portion here, is nowhere near over here where it actually meets, where the hook bends around. Give me a second and we will. Here's another knot that I broke earlier. That's not this knot. And this really shows. So this is actually the tag end hanging down here. So while this one actually also did not hit that area that we're talking about, and that I'll skip that because it's an odd knot, and I think I'm just going to confuse myself and everybody else. Okay, so here we'll take another piece of mono and another hook, and let's see. We'll do the I don't even remember what I would call the normal snell, where you get the loop down at the bottom and we wrap and we go up. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know how many wraps. I don't care because this is not about testing the knot. It's about showing you about the knot. Okay. So let's go ahead and cinch this one up tight. Okay, so what we have, even after doing that, so this is our tag end over here. So you can see hopefully very clearly, the standing end right here is going to rub up against Move that down. It's going to rub up against this. I mean, that's where it comes through, I guess. Let's see if we tried turning it sideways. And it still wants to center itself because that's the low point, right? So no matter what we do, we are going to be pulling in some way against that area. So I can tighten that knot back up so it's not as loose. But every time we pull, we're going to abrade that a little bit more. And the more pressure we put on it, even if we're going, even if the hook's this way, right? It's still going to, because the front of the hook is below, or the top of the hook is below that collar there, any way you go, it's going to abrade against there, and that's where it breaks every time. So now the challenge is to find some sort of knot that isn't going to have this problem. And in case you're wondering, well, why don't we just slide this down, throw the tag in through there just for giggles. Like so. Because, it's tag in. What do we care? It's sacrificial anyway. We pull that up. So that should still work as a buffer somewhat, but you can see it still doesn't, because no matter how we do that, it's going to push into that little gap, and we're still going to abrade against there. So the beauty of the knotless knot is that it actually comes around the side. The standing in comes around the side of the hook and then through the eye, as opposed to coming straight up. And plus, again, we have the buffer here of the tag end that is occupying the top portion of that gap anyway. So that's where I'm at on trying to find a better Snell knot. And again, there is nothing wrong with the knotless knot, with the exception of two issues. The first of which is it can push back on it. You can push it right out, and that loosens it up. And the thicker the mono, the harder it is to get it to stay into place, even with pulling really hard. The other is that you have to have access to both ends of the knot of the line. The standing end can't have anything on it yet, right? You can't have a swivel on there and then be able to get back through the hook eye, right? So those are the two issues with the knotless knot. But it has full strength, full line strength. It doesn't break at the knot. It breaks elsewhere. Every now and then I guess it'll break at the knot because, a weak spot in the line. But my testing shows that it's breaking elsewhere. So it's very interesting, and so far it's the only knot that has given this much strength. After testing the Palomar and the Uni knot and the clinch knot, the improved clinch knot, and the single San Diego jam knot, and a couple of loop knots, and this is the strongest. Now, of course, you don't want to snell every hook you have, because you don't want to snell a crankbait. But for those of us who use circle hooks and live or cut bait, this is the knot we're going to be using. This is the type of knot, a Snell knot, that we're going to be using. So the best Snell knot is important. And at this point, I'm just rambling. There is lots of data. I have a playlist on how to tie knots. I have a playlist on knot strength tests, and I am not anywhere close to done. And I will tell you, if you want to waste hours upon hours upon hours of your time, get one of these pull gauges. Because OMG, the amount of time I have spent / wasted, and the information I have obtained, because I would have never thought that this was going to be the strongest knot. Not at all. And data is data. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks, and we will see you on the next of who knows how many million videos. Thanks for watching.